afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I warmly welcome each of you to today's webinar, where we are privileged to have esteemed speakers from HDFCERGO General Insurance and IIT Bombay. Our topic of discussion today revolves around a crucial initiative undertaken by HDFCERGO in collaboration with IIT Bombay, aimed at addressing the challenges posed by urban flooding in Mumbai and the associated implications for insurance coverage. As we are all aware, urban flooding is a pressing issue that not only affects public health and safety, but also has significant repercussions on infrastructure and the economy. The recent partnership between HDFCERGO and IIT Bombay marks a significant step towards mitigating these risks by leveraging cutting-edge research, technology, and expertise. Mr. Parthanil Ghosh, Director and Chief Business Officer, HDFCERGO General Insurance, will provide insights into the objectives and scope of this collaboration, shedding light on how the project aims to assess damage, identify suitable insurance outcomes, and empower authorities with preemptive measures to safeguard lives and assets. We are also privileged to have Professor Subimal Ghosh from IIT Bombay, who will share his expertise on the technical aspects of this initiative. Professor Ghosh's insights will delve into the methodologies employed in data collection, risk assessment, and the development of geo-mapped advisories, highlighting the role of advanced research and technology. So without further ado, let us commence today's discussion and delve deeper into this critical initiative to enhance public safety and resilience in the face of urban flooding challenges. Thank you. Moving on to our speakers. First, Mr. Parthanil Ghosh, if you could elaborate on the specific objectives of the urban flooding project in Mumbai and how it aligns with HDFCERGO's mission and goals.
Thank you, Meghna. Thank you, Outlook Money, for inviting us for this very, very important topic. Before I get into the urban flooding project that Professor Ghosh is leading, I would like to spend a minute on our objective when we had set up this collaboration that you had mentioned with IIT Bombay. So in 2021, we conceptualized along with IIT Bombay to set up an incubation center, which we believe is first in India between a collaboration between an insurance company and a premier engineering institute like IIT Bombay. The objective is to support IIT Bombay, the faculties, the students, the researchers on cutting edge projects, which on a larger frame will support the humankind, the citizens of India. So in the last 2 years, in 2021, 22, 23, we are supporting 5 projects so far. And maybe on a different day, we will talk about those projects. Those projects are extremely unique and very, very relevant to our daily lives to support or to alleviate the problems. Coming back to this particular project of urban flooding, and in 2022, we were having this discussion during our annual discussion of projects. And Professor Ghosh had mentioned this project that urban flooding remains a huge concern for the general public. And of course, as insurers, because insurers, we do insure vehicles, properties, and urban flooding pose a huge risk to our portfolio. So when we were discussing this, we said that we live in Bombay, and Bombay has seen devastating flooding in 2005, and localized floodings also do happen. What we don't know that what is the kind of damage it has done to the properties, because in India, large part of the domestic properties are not insured. So there is a difference between the economic loss and insurance loss. But most importantly, the vulnerable segment of the society, our daily lives, how we can change that. And thereby, we decided to support this particular initiative of IIT Bombay and the incubation lab of HDFCERGO, which we call it HEIITB, HDFCERGO IITB Incubation Center. It is also actually housed in the IIT Bombay Powai campus. And so thereby we started to support this particular project. And so far in the last 2 years, and we'll hear from Professor Ghosh, we have come a long way in operationalizing this project. And we are extremely happy and excited that something very, very good, something extremely material is coming out from this particular project.
Okay. Professor Ghosh, if you could explain, if you could provide insights into the methodologies employed for data collection and risk assessment in the urban flooding project.
Yeah, so thank you. Thanks, Meghna. And thanks, HDFCERGO, for giving us the opportunity to work on this very important problem of urban flooding, specifically for Mumbai, because Mumbai has been suffering from urban flooding over last 2 or 3 decades. Now, I mean, before starting the methodology part, I'd like to tell you why do you really need to think about, urban flooding. The first thing is that we are in the Anthropocene, and climate is changing very fast, very rapidly. And with per degree centigrade warming, normally the extreme precipitation increases by 7 to 8%. So that's the first thing. Now, this kind of intensification of extreme precipitation is more in urban regions because there are multiple reasons. Of course, one of the reason is the temperature is high, but at the same time, urban structure, urban heterogeneity, all of them results into extreme precipitation. Now,
Right.
Mumbai always receives extreme precipitation because Mumbai is sort of the gateway to the monsoon wind. So essentially, monsoon wind with a lot of moisture that comes from the Arabian Sea that enters our country through Mumbai. And there is Western Ghats. So because of the orography and urban regions, it results into a lot of rain. So the idea was that the thing is that it's very important, and we all know it's very important. So I'll tell you why do you need this kind of forecasting system. I'll just give you one of the example which actually happened to me. So I still remember in 2017, 2018, when my daughter was admitted to school, and it was during June time, so around July probably there was an extreme rainfall day. And I mean, it was her first few days of school, and suddenly we were not getting any information about the school bus because the extreme rainfall started, and the schools have declared holidays. So the school buses started taking the kids taking them back home. But we are not getting any information because somehow the internet or bus tracking system was not working, and it got stuck in between some waterlogging region. So we are really concerned, and all the parents have started discussing through WhatsApp that what exactly is the position of the bus, where exactly it is. And then finally we could really locate the bus. So bus is somewhere there. So that tells us that one is that we need a very good forecasting system. We need a very good early warning system that can tell you that, look, is it a good time to really travel from one part of Mumbai to another? That's number one. Number two is that crowdsourcing can be a very good information to tell you that what exactly is the present status of flood, because at this moment Mumbaikars do not have the information. Let's say if you are on an extreme day, if you have to travel from Powai to Dadar, you don't know whether the roads are really waterlogged or not. There is no information system which is available, which should not happen. So that was the idea. The idea was that can we really come up with some kind of a system which can provide the real-time flood information and also the forecasted rainfall and forecasted flood for next few hours to next few days. So that was the idea. And then finally, we can take it further to losses and risk. So that was the entire idea of this project. And from there, we started. So when we started, one of the thing is that, when we're talking about, because we cannot really have sensors everywhere, all around the city. We do not have that kind of support system. But we can have only few sensors. So we have to depend on the crowdsourced information. That means it is a citizen science. Mumbaikars will help themselves through the portal which we are designing at HE IITB Center. So that was the idea. So if we have to rely on crowdsourced information system, we need to first understand how reliable is the crowdsourced information. And to start with that, what we did is we have started relying on the Twitter information. So people normally tweet about the flooding information at different locations, and we found that they are actually very useful information. There is not much of noise. They are very important signals which are coming through the tweet information. So we took that tweet information to check can we really do the monitoring with that. We found it is working, so we can go for a web portal system. Of course, I'll come back to you with detailed information about it. The second thing, we have checked the forecast system. Forecast system works well, but for Mumbai, there are challenges. So we tried to resolve those challenges with statistical methods and downscaling methods. And plan is to connect it to a flood model so that we can give rainfall forecast at 15 minutes to 24 hours interval, then 1 day to 3 day interval, and also 3 day lead time, and also the present flood monitor and the next few days flood forecasting. So at this moment, that's the idea, and we are designing a portal for that. So we'll come back to you with more detailed information about it. Thanks, Meghna.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Ghosh, if you could tell us, how do you perceive the role of insurance companies in addressing the challenges posed by extreme weather conditions, weather events in urban areas, and beyond the scope of traditional risk management practices?
So, Meghna, as Professor Ghosh has mentioned, that this is something like citizen science. This is a new word that Professor Ghosh just mentioned. So as insurance companies, we can leverage technologies such as artificial intelligence, machine learning, data analytics, predictive modeling to assess and understand the evolving risks. Some of the risks we do know, as you are saying, that these are the traditional risks. We know that by the side of a river, by the side of water body, the places which are frequented by storms, flooding, we should avoid. But sudden risks, how the Bombay had seen that in the past 2 decades, this can be only based on a predictive modeling on which we should look at it. Secondly, also the tailored solutions like the bundled insurance packages that combine coverages of various types of climate risks. Today, on the domestic front, we generally don't use it. And also we collaborate, and the insurance companies should collaborate with the local government and other stakeholders to implement measures such as improved infrastructure, urban planning strategies, and disaster preparedness initiatives. One is a disaster is going to happen. Some of the disasters we can't predict. Insurance talk about 1 in 200 year risk, 1 in 100 years risk. We can't always predict. And if you start predicting and building it within our insurance policies, people will not be able to buy it. But very importantly is to be prepared for those eventualities. And how can we prepare? When Professor Ghosh is speaking about this urban flood modeling, and he will most probably speak about the collaboration that is happening with the local authorities, that is the time when the insurance companies can come in, and we feel much more comforted that the products that we are giving, the risks that we are giving, or the products that we are giving to the customers, the policyholders, we can also be at ease that those are being used not frequently, but in a very, very extreme situation. Then these products will be affordable. People will be able to protect themselves, and thereby the insurance companies will also be able to grow and give wider coverages in days to come.
Right. Okay, that was well explained. Professor Ghosh, if you could, how do you envision the integration of advanced technologies such as remote sensing and GIS in the development of geomapped advisories for urban flooding?
Yeah, so the first thing is that anything if you do work on urban flooding or any kind of forecasting system, it has to be on GIS platform, and that's what we have been doing. So remote sensing and GIS have their own usefulness. Remote sensing is also useful in getting the flood information, but the challenges are there. The available remote sensing information during the monsoon time may not be very useful because of the cloud cover. So hence, not always remote sensing adds a lot of value, but we can still have a high resolution data from different space agencies and so on, but they are also sometimes classified data, because for Mumbai region this is the classified data. You cannot always get the satellite images for those regions, so there are challenges, and hence we thought of use the crowdsourced information provided by the people, and we need to, but we have to make sure that they are properly quality controlled. And for that, we have defined models, which are urban flood models, which we'll also be using. So urban flood models and crowdsource information, both of them have to be mapped, and the consistency will be checked through some kind of machine learning or data-driven approaches. That was the idea, so that we can get some kind of a merged data which tells you what exactly is the flood monitoring, what is the present flood condition. Let's say if you want to know that what is the present flood condition in the other region, so you'll be able to get this information. So that was the first thing which we are planning. So now the second thing is that when it comes to the forecasting, for forecasting also, it needs a lot of newer technologies. Let's say you need to use not only just standard artificial intelligence machine learning techniques, which you can pick up from the computer science literature and put it may not work in that way. So what you have to do, we have to continuously improvise that kind of algorithms, and that's what we're doing. We are not really applying directly, rather than we keep on changing the algorithms. We are working, we also collaborate with a few students from computer science as well. So we keep on developing a newer kind of methodology that is more applicable for a region like Mumbai, because Mumbai is a coastal region, and we need to understand that when models produce rain, they produce more rain over the ocean compared to land. So you have to take care of lot of information which you are getting from physics, and we are converting it into a machine learning approach, and finally getting this sort of information. So that's one of the forecasting system. The third thing is that you have to run the flood forecasting model also, and for that you need high resolution DEM data, digital elevation maps. So we have moderate resolution DEM data and high resolution only at a few hotspot. So we are merging them together. We are trying to develop the digital elevation map that gives you the elevation. The other thing is the stormwater drainage. The stormwater drainage data is not available for the entire city. It is only available at a few locations. So we are again developing some kind of a machine learning algorithm which tries to understand over the available region how the roads, the major roads, minor roads, how are they aligned, or how are they located in that region, and how the stormwater drainage system is located. So we'll try to learn from that, and we'll apply it for the entire Mumbai city, so that we can have the stormwater drainage system. So once we have all these layers, GIS layers, then we run that in a flood model. So it's a difficult task, but we are trying to, rather than using new technology, we are using new technology, but at the same time we keep on improvising them, so that they are more fitted and applicable for flood forecasting for Mumbai.
Okay. Mr. Ghosh, how does HDFCERGO plan to utilize the insights gained from this project to enhance insurance coverage and risk management strategies for urban flooding events?
So I would say that it will happen in three ways. The first one is very easy to understand, because as soon as we understand the study and the areas where this urban flooding can be more probable, which are less probable, based on that we can devise a product. So our underwriting policies, our pricing of the insurance policies can be relevant and thereby become affordable. So we will not unnecessarily increase the price for an area in Mumbai which is less flood prone than the more flood prone. So better underwriting and better pricing. Second thing is very, very importantly is a prevention. See, when we buy an insurance policy, whether it's a motor policy, health policy, or a home policy, we do not necessarily want a loss to happen, right? The loss or damage, insurance companies can only financially pay you, financially compensate you. But the loss of lives or any kind of injury cannot be compensated by an insurance company. So the second part is prevention. What Professor Ghosh is mentioning, that we can actually tell people that which are the roads to avoid, which are the roads you should not drive your car, or what you should do for those low-lying areas, the ground level people who are there, who may not be our policyholders. So there I will be able to prevent it. And the third one is on the long-term sustainability of the citizens of Mumbai. Which are the places, which are the areas where the entire building should come up, how it should come up, how the entire topography to be designed, These are certain things which can be defined by the authorities per se. And I believe Professor Ghosh will be speaking about it, the collaboration between the authorities, which will be so critical for the success of any urban flood projects that we undertake anywhere in the world.
Professor Ghosh, as he mentioned, could you explain that the collaboration between authorities? How?
So when this entire work started, the first thing what we did is that we went to MCGM Center for Municipal Capacity Building and Research, which is a municipal organization, the capacity building organization of the MCGM. And when they came to know about our project, they have been cooperating with us like anything. So they have been helping us in terms of selecting the regions where we can install sensors. They are also helping us in giving us required data. As I said, that for some regions we have got the stormwater drainage system data, so they have actually shared those data. Whatever they have monitored, they are sharing those information. So they have been helping us so that it will be successful, because they know that this is really needed for a city like Mumbai, and it is mutually beneficial for HEITB team as well as for the municipal organizations, because they can also use the forecast, or they can take this forecasting system and they can further incorporate in their own system, etc., and so on. The other cooperation also we have got from Best Bus. Mumbai's lifeline is Best Bus and the local train. So when we talk to the Best Bus people, the Best Bus, they have been helping us, and they have also helped us in identifying some locations. They are providing some of their towers to install the sensors, and so on. So that's one of the thing. Third thing also, we have started talking to the railways, Mumbai local train. And they have also started showing a lot of cooperations, and we are arranging some meetings so that we'll get a lot of information from them as well. So the idea here is that the major stakeholders, one is MCGM, the second one is Best Bus, and the third one is Mumbai local train. So we have started collaborating with them so that it's not only just forecasting, but getting a lot of information from them and helping them with their operations. So that was the idea. It's not only just helping citizens, but also the municipal corporation, transport system, and so on.
Right. Mr. Ghosh, if you could, in what ways do you foresee this collaboration contributing to the broader ecosystem of disaster preparedness and response in urban areas?
Yes, so as you said, that by leveraging these insights of the project, the authorities, in this case, the municipal corporation, the transport system, can proactively implement preventive measures to safeguard lives and assets. I think this is very important. This includes issuing geo-mapped advisories about health and asset protection, allowing residents to take preemptive actions in the face of impending disasters. And then going forward for the insurance sector, so the risk-based pricing strategy. So the insurance industry goes by the risk-based pricing strategy, and lots of places we can't assess the risk properly. So in case of these kind of projects, say for example, for motor insurance, insurers can adjust premium based on the flood risk, ensuring a fair pricing for vehicle owners in the flood-prone area and not so flood-prone area. In case of health insurance, in case of property insurance, so the home insurance pricing, we can adjust based on this risk pricing. Commercial insurance, the commercial business areas can be priced accordingly by the insurance companies. And the fourth one, once again, the broader ecosystem, the point that I have been mentioning time and again, is on the customer advisories. The insurers can easily issue advisories to customers residing in the flood-prone areas, providing valuable guidance on the risk mitigation measures and insurance coverage options.
Professor Ghosh, from a technical perspective, what are the key challenges and opportunities in utilizing real-world data to enhance our understanding of urban flooding dynamics and inform insurance outcomes?
Okay, so key challenge is data. The first challenge is data, because getting data is very difficult. There are reasons. The first thing is that Mumbai belongs to a classified area. So we may not get a very high resolution DEM, very high resolution stormwater drainage system for the city, and so on and so forth. So this is the first challenge. The second challenge is that Mumbai, till 2021, Mumbai did not have a proper flood monitoring system. After that, BMC started setting up a few stations, but we do not have the data really available to us, to the citizens. So that's the second challenge. The third challenge is if you are talking about urban precipitation, it's an extremely challenging task. If you're talking about extreme precipitation, it's challenging task. If it is in coastal region, it's another challenge. So multiple challenges exist when you're talking about rainfall forecast or flood forecast in a city like Mumbai. The fourth challenge is, of course, if you're going for a forecast system, you have to make sure it should not give a lot of false alarm. Because once false alarm starts coming, then people will lose interest and people will think that this forecast system is not really very useful. So there are multiple challenges, and so this makes it really complex and complicated. And in the urban flood system itself is very complex because in urban region, land use keeps on changing very fast. If there is a road repair or something is happening, the elevation will suddenly increase. Suddenly, the probably municipal corporation, of course, they have been working very well. What they have trying to do is that they have taken a lot of mitigation measures. So with those new mitigation measures, your flood profile will completely change. So there are many challenges which exist, and you have to incorporate all these challenges and then keep on, updating the models continuously. So it's not a one-time effort, but rather after even developing this model, you have to keep on updating. The one of the major challenge is that we have to connect to people, because what we are designing is that we are designing a web portal which will have a online form, and also an app. And so our request to Mumbaikars is that this is for you. So you can, of course, get access to the forecast system, but to make the forecast system really work, give your input. So give your input in the sense like, what is the water level at this moment? Is it your west level or knee level? Or what exactly is the level of water? What is your approximate height? So this kind of small information, which will take just few seconds to fill up. So this kind of information will keep on asking from you. So you just click on our website, which will definitely tweet and share. Once it is designed, we'll share with you at the starting of the season. So you can please give us good information from there. So we'll collect this information and we'll incorporate that in the forecasting system. Better the information, better the forecasting system. So that's the strategy. And if it really works, that shows the power of citizen in really developing a good forecasting system which will help all the people. So that's the idea.
Okay. Mr. Ghosh, in light of the increasing frequency and severity of urban flooding events, what measures can be implemented by insurers to ensure comprehensive coverage and timely claims management for affected individuals and businesses?
So firstly, Meghna, when we get this data, we have got some kind of data for across the country, and thereby we give advisories to customers, prospective customers, to buy a comprehensive policies for their motor, health, or home. That we always do. So these kind of projects actually gives us more information. So for our data modeling and thereby the product. The second part is that we in HDFCERGO as a customer first organization always have been extremely proactive to set up the claims management platforms whenever an incident like this happens. Apart from that, we have a digital platform where customers can come 24/7 to submit their claims. But during these disasters, and I will give you one example, that for instance in 2023, when North India was grappling with flood, we had set up a dedicated helpline and claims desk for all claims arising of the North India in 2023. Apart from that, the regulator, the IRDAI, also proactively asks all the insurers whenever there is a flood in Kerala or any other part to set up this expeditious claims addressal system. Of course, we find out very difficulty on the other side that if everything is flooded, where will you take your vehicles to get it repaired? But we all insurers go there. HDFCERGO, we always find ways to support the customers in this kind of situation. So we do that so that the vehicles or any damage to the home, these claims are settled on an expeditious basis. But most importantly, once again, as I am saying, that prevention is better than cure, that age-old saying. Yes, insurers we are insuring a particular eventuality if that happens, but we never want to have that eventuality to happen. We can't stop the rainfall not to happen. We cannot stop an urban flooding, right? What we are talking about is to predict it and to prevent the damage to lives and properties. So as an insurance company, as HDFC ERGO, these kind of projects, we believe will inspire other institutions, other insurers to do it for some other cities. And Meghna, I would take this liberty from you to ask Professor Ghosh, because this entire concept of Mumbai urban flooding model is also something that Professor Ghosh was also involved into Chennai, when the Chennai flood was getting predicted 2 years back. And if you recall, some 7 8 years back, the disaster that happened in Chennai, last time lots of things got prevented. Professor Ghosh, if you can spend 2 minutes on that particular thing on Chennai, because then
Yeah.
Mumbaikars will be they will have a peace of mind that when this project gets operationalized in this monsoon, they can take some kind of comfort from the Chennai experience.
Yeah, so in 2015, there was a severe flood in Chennai, and a lot of people died, a lot of property loss and damage that took place. So immediately after that flood, then Dr. Chidambaram, who was the then principal scientific advisor to the government of India, he visited IIT Bombay and he met our then director, Professor Devang Khakar. And then we had a meeting, and then he asked me to take a lead of developing a team for India's first end-to-end real-time flood forecasting system, which will be for Chennai. And there were around 8 institutes with 30 scientists were involved to develop the flood forecasting system for Chennai. And we developed actually in 1.5 years, whatever, of course, we got a lot of support from IMD, Ministry of Earth Sciences, the municipal corporation, and so on. So we finally developed that, the Chennai flood forecasting model. But of course, it also had its own limitation, etc. But Chennai flood forecasting model was operational in the name of CFlows, which is now run by NCCR, National Center for Coastal Research of Ministry of Earth Sciences. So we thought that, of course, Chennai we have developed, but we are sitting in Mumbai and we have to do something for Mumbai as well. And it's also the responsibility of IIT Bombay to do something for its own city, Mumbai. So then we suggested this to HDFCERGO, and HDFCERGO immediately said, yes, that's what is needed. We are really thankful to HDFCERGO because they immediately said it's needed for Mumbai, and yeah, we'll support you. Let's do it as a part of HEIIDB Research Center, which will make impacts on the life of citizen of Mumbai. And with that idea, we started, working for Mumbai flood forecasting system. And we wanted to make sure whatever limitations which are there in Chennai flood forecasting system, which will not be there for Mumbai. CFlows was not available for the citizen. It is only available with disaster mitigation people and municipal corporation. But Mumbai one, we decided that it will be run by the citizen for the citizen. So this is for the people of Mumbai. So that was the idea. And with that motivation, HDFCERGO IIT Bombay team started developing this system.
Okay. And the last question for Professor Ghosh: how do you anticipate the findings and outcomes of this collaboration influencing policy frameworks and regulatory approaches toward disaster risk reduction and resilience building in urban settings?
Yeah, I think that's a very important question, and that's also a challenging task. So the first step for any kind of urban resilience is that you have to improve the early warning system. And once you have an early warning system, which we are at this moment planning, so essentially for the citizen, by the citizen, what I was trying to say is it's the forecasting system. Once we develop, then the second thing what is needed is that we have to check with the past data. So let's say if you get the information from the local trends. So during the past few years of monsoon season, how the train services were interrupted because of flooding. And we know what are the hotspot locations. Now from the forecasting system, let's say if you know that these are the regions which are getting flooded in next 6 hours. So you can immediately tell that, look, the lines between or the stations, these stations or the railway track between these two stations will get waterlogged. So this railway service will be interrupted. Avoid that. You take the other thing. So the idea here is that just to help people, look, if you are returning back to home from office, don't use this railway track. You use another route. And that helps the people to recover quickly. Otherwise, what will happen is that, a lot of people will get stuck. The entire city will, so activities will stop and so on. So we do not want that. So we need to find out what are the other options which should start so that the city become resilient to flooding. So that's the idea. The second thing also what is important is that we are also, one of our colleague, Professor Shubhankar Karmakar, he has been developing the vulnerability map for the city. So he is working in parallel to this. And he is developing high resolution vulnerability map. The idea here is that, the people who are living on 14th or 15th floor in Hilanandani, they are not affected that much by flooding compared to those who are living in the slum areas where, the flood water enters and so on. And so the idea here is that, can we develop a vulnerability map? We can develop a hazard map and convert them to risk. So you can easily identify the high risk location. And if there is a forecast of extremely heavy rainfall, then can you really alert them or evacuate them or ask them, okay, if you have, let's say, most of the people I know that they buy the month's grain and they keep it on the floor. So you can immediately tell them that you arrange for your entire food storage at somewhere else. You should not keep it on the floor, because in next few hours there will be a very high chance of flooding. So these are all small steps when we have to design all of these things once we have a forecasting system ready. So idea here is that first make the forecasting system ready and then try to find out different avenues with which we can help the people. So that's the idea. And of course, finally developing the risk map and identifying high risk zones and think of a better forecast even for the high risk hotspot zones.
Thank you, Mr. Ghosh. Thank you, Professor Ghosh, for such an insightful discussion. With this, we have come to the end of today's webinar. As we draw this discussion to a close, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to our esteemed speakers for their invaluable contributions and expertise shared with us today. The collaboration between HDFCERGO and IIT Bombay through the urban flooding project in Mumbai clearly represents a commendable endeavor to tackle the multifaceted challenges posed by extreme weather events in urban areas. Let us carry forward the spirit of collaboration and innovation ignited by this initiative as we work towards building a safer, a more resilient future for all. Last but not the least, we eagerly await your comments and feedback on editor@outlookmoney.com. We will be back with our next edition soon. Till then, thanks to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Meghna.
Insurance is the subject matter of the solicitation.